Hello friends, my name is Michelle Fondin and I'm the author of the new book, Enlightened Medicine, Your Power to Get Well Now, an integrative approach to healing the 7 deadly lifestyle diseases. And my upcoming book, Chakra Healing for Vibrant Energy, and I'm really excited about this one, upcoming with New World Library in April. You can pre-order it now on Amazon, Barnes & Noble, or Indie Books. So today, I was having a hard time getting motivated to do videos, even though it was on my schedule for today. And it's not that I don't love you guys, because I really love you guys. I think you are great. Thank you so much for watching the videos. Thank you for supporting me on Patreon. Thank you for making comments that are good and constructive and thought-provoking. I was feeling a little bit of the winter blues, and that's why I entitled this video, Shaking Off the Winter Blues. Now, I have a confession to make to you guys. I believe that I really do experience seasonal affective disorder, or SAD. I hate winter. Now, there are not many things in life that I can categorize as hatred. I love people. I can't say there's one person on this planet that I actually hate. There's some that I strongly dislike, or I dislike their actions. It's not the actual people that I dislike. I dislike their actions, but I don't have hatred toward anybody, really. Winter, even though winter is supposed to be good for you, I do not like winter. I really don't like winter. When I was a kid, I grew up in Michigan, of all places. Do you believe that I grew up in Michigan and I hate winter? And as I was growing, I knew I would get frustrated. I would get super sick in winter, and I really write about that in Enlightened Medicine in the preface. You can go back to the preface video and I explain about how I was super sick as a kid, but all of my illness basically came around fall to winter. I was sick pretty much from like October through like March, and that is how I spent my childhood. But when I had a more cognizant awareness, that I became aware that there were other places that did not have a winter that was harsh. I know that a lot of places, even the warmer places, they say like, oh, we have a winter, even though it's not a winter like in Michigan or Chicago, or I live in the DC area now, but it's not the same winter, obviously. If you have the sun that's shining brightly every single day, even if it's 60 degrees and that's winter for you, it's not the same thing. And obviously, if you're watching this video, you either like what I do or you're like me and you don't like winter. So there aren't going to be a lot of winter-loving people seeking out this title of this video. When I was 15, I took my first trip with my dad and sister to California. We took a train trip. This is the best train trip. We took a train trip. It was in the summertime, across the United States. We started in Detroit. We went all the way up to the top of the United States, all the way across to Washington State. We went up to Vancouver for the World's Fair of 1985. And then we took the train all the way down to Anaheim, California, where my dad had some relatives. And we did the whole Hollywood, Anaheim thing. We did Universal Studios, which it was not at all the same it is now. It was much smaller. There was pretty much only like a movie ride. That was pretty much it. The tour of the studios, it really wasn't super elaborate like it is today. I don't know if we did Disneyland. Like, I don't have any recollection of ever going to Disneyland until I went in December of 2017 for my birthday trip. I fell in love with California, and I was like, oh my gosh, this is where I want to live. This is where I want to be. And from age 15 on, I was like, this is it. This is my strategy. This is how I can get rid of winters. And what's even funnier, and in retrospect, this is super embarrassing, so please bear with me, but I was in the Miss Clausen pageant in Clausen, Michigan, and everybody had a talent. And I had talents at the time. Like, I was a ballerina, I was in acting, all that jazz, but this was my talent. I walked on stage with shorts, a tank top, and a beach ball, and I said something like, oh, I worship the sun, or I want to be with the sun. It was really strange, but that's how strongly I felt about living in a sunny place or near the sun. And since then, many obstacles came in the way that I could never make it out to a sunny place to live, including, parents saying like, no, you can't go there to go to college and all that. As it turns out, I have never made it to a sunny place for winter, except going to Florida for vacation every 2 years. So that's our big trip with our family. We go to Orlando, Florida, do a Disney trip. But even in February in Orlando, it's give or take. It could be really wintry or it could be really summery. It depends. It's Florida and it's northern Florida. It's not even southern Florida. So that is our winter trip, but this is an off year. So we're not going to Disney World this year. So of course we're suffering through the winter here. Now, I am the only one in my family that is deeply affected by winter. Everyone else is kind of like, it's okay, it's good. Like cloudy days, snowy days, rainy days, perfect. And I'm like, how did my children get to be so different from me? It's only me that's really suffering from this. So, whenever you're really dissatisfied about something, I was really thinking deeply about this, and I do. I think about this deeply pretty much every day. I think about, well, when you're dissatisfied with something, you could do something about it. You could change your circumstances, change your situation. You could change your attitude, or you can complain about it. And complaining about it really never accomplishes anything. It makes other people miserable. It makes you miserable. It gets you deeper into anxiety and depression, and it really doesn't help with your feelings of self-confidence, self-worth, your health and healing, your body, all of that. So for me, when I'm down, I try to reason my way out of feeling down. I try to reason my way out of these feelings of winter blues, these feelings of heaviness, because frankly, I know in many, many parts of the country, this winter has been brutal. And for us, while we haven't had a lot of snow in the DC area, it's been extremely cold. Like this part of the country, it's been crazy cold. And it's been really dark. There haven't been a lot of sunny days since probably like December 1st. It's been a really long, cold, sunless winter. And so here we are almost mid-February and 2.5 months into this dark coldness. And it can really get you down if you are affected by this, if you have seasonal affective disorder or even just like a mild case of the winter blues. And so I really try to combat that by doing practices that can help me overcome that. Now, as you see behind me, and I did this on purpose, don't think it's just there, like I forgot that it was there. But one of the things is that I made a commitment to myself last year. Some of you saw the video where I talk about going to Unleash the Power Within with Tony Robbins, which I would highly, highly, highly recommend. I loved that program. It was so good. But I made the commitment to move to California by July 31st, 2018. So a lot of obstacles are in my way to do this, but I really believe that if there is a will, there is a way. And another quote that I love to quote is that with God, all things are possible. And another thing that I love, and it's my quote, and I have it up in my yoga room where I teach yoga and I teach bar, and it's by William A. Ward. And if you can imagine it, you can achieve it. If you can dream it, you can become it. And for me, that is my mantra. I mean, with God, all things are possible. If you can imagine it, you can achieve it. If you can dream it, you can become it. And in fact, the William A. Ward quote, I want to thank my mother for it, because when I was a kid, I wanted to be a ballerina so badly, and I didn't quite have the talent. I was very talented in ballet, but I didn't have the talent that you need to become a world-class ballerina. I just didn't. There was a poster that with a ballerina with that quote on it, and it was on my bedroom wall. And later, when I had posters of like movie stars and rock stars up in my room, it was still there. And I think I moved it to my closet door, but that poster was still there. And so every day I saw that quote, every single solitary day, and it made such a huge impact on my life and my mentality, and getting myself into positive thinking and thinking that, instead of this self-defeatist attitude where, oh, really, I can't have that, I can't do that, it gave me more of an attitude of, if you can imagine it, you can achieve it. So I've made that commitment to myself that I need to live in a sunny place. I need to live in a place that's warm. And even if it's taken me 47 years to do this, I'm going to do it. But meanwhile, I still have to live in winter. And so what are some of the things that I do to overcome that and to combat that? Well, first of all, I always have my meditation practice. And that's super important to me. If you don't have a meditation practice, I would say find a meditation teacher. If you can't find a meditation teacher, or you don't have the means to find a meditation teacher, then there are several videos on YouTube. There are apps you can listen to with guided meditations. I know the Chopra Center with Chopra and Oprah, they do like 21-day guided meditations that if you sign up during the 21 days, then you can get those meditations for free daily. I know they charge for them afterward, but that's once the series is done. You can buy it, I guess, as an MP3 file. So the next thing I do is I walk every single day. Now, I won't walk outside. I will tell you this. I do not walk when it's cold out. I don't walk when it's rainy. I don't walk when it's snowy. That is just me. I cannot do it. Walk on my treadmill, and if you don't have a treadmill at home, then you can walk your stairs. If you have stairs in your home, if you have stairs to the basement, if you have stairs to the upstairs, walk your stairs, do lunges on your stairs, do push-ups on your stairs. There are so many things you actually can do. Just set a timer and do it for 15 minutes. YouTube is totally great with so many workout videos. It's crazy. One of my favorite workout channels is called Fitness Blender. At first I watched it, I thought this is kind of weird because they do it on an all white background, or they edit it into a white background, which I thought was kind of strange. And they have a voiceover, which it's a husband-wife couple that I found out afterward, but they have great videos. They have like a bajillion subscribers, so you know their videos are good. So there are so many things you can do to work out, but for me to combat the winter blues, like I have to do those two things. I have to meditate and I have to work out. Like, if not, then I'm a mess, and I'm just like sitting on my couch covered up with blankets because I'm so cold and miserable and I want to be in the sun. And so I just tend to be more lazy, and I don't get as much accomplished as I actually need to accomplish. So getting those two things in early in the morning are super important to me. And then when I get in a really negative mindset, what I can do is do something nice for somebody else. For example, this morning I was in such a foul mood because, again, it's dark and gray outside. And I was like, oh, why is it so dark? Why is it so gray? And I thought, okay, I need to turn this around. What can I do? Well, my son yesterday was talking about like having good things for breakfast. And this morning he was looking in the fridge for something good for breakfast. And I bought canned pumpkin, and I make my famous homemade pumpkin bread. So I was like, okay, then I can make some pumpkin bread. I found out I didn't have enough eggs, which I need to go out and get eggs, but I'm gonna make some pumpkin bread today. And the next thing is gratitude. It's just having gratitude. So when you start getting all grumpy and grouchy and thinking like, oh, the winter is just horrible and it's terrible and I hate the cold and I don't like the short days and it's dark all the time and nothing seems right in my life, because when you get in that mindset, it's like everything feels like dark and dank and you don't feel all motivated to do anything. So start making a gratitude list of all the things that you are grateful for and all the things you have to be grateful for. And just focus on that. Focus on serving somebody else, doing something really nice for somebody else, call somebody you haven't called in a long time, or make a list of all the things you're grateful for, or just walk around the house and just say like, I'm so grateful to have lights. Like, I'm so grateful that, yeah, it's dark outside, but at least I can turn on the lights in here. Be thankful to have heat. You know, I live in the DC area, a lot of homeless people in DC, not in my Northern Virginia posh area, where it's kind of funny when I take my son to different cities, my youngest one especially, to different cities, like he's really shocked by the homeless. And it is shocking, of course, if you're not used to living in an urban area and seeing homeless people, then it's shocking if you're a kid especially, and all of a sudden you see a lot of homeless people and you're like, whoa. You know, being grateful to have a home and being grateful to have a roof over your head and being grateful to have heat and electricity and water, running water, is something that's so important. So just being grateful for the really little things that you tend to overlook, and thank God that you do have running water and heat, even though it is winter and you have winter blues. And so just starting with that. And another thing you can do, and this is something like that will get you out of that negative mindset, is to go do something out of the ordinary. Go do something that you normally would never, ever, ever do. So like take the day off work and go into an art museum that you've wanted to see for like the past 5 years, but you've just never taken the time to go to. Just go and do that. Like play hooky, go do something totally wacky, totally out of the ordinary that you would never do. And really that interrupts the pattern of the negativity and it gets you into a more positive mindset. So try those things. I mean, that's what I do. I mean, that's what I tend to do when I get into that negative mindset because I don't like winter and I get the winter blues and I get really grouchy and grumpy. And thank you so much for joining me. Please go out there and do something. Don't just sit around and be sad because it's winter. And I look forward to seeing you in the next video. Please subscribe to my channel, share this video with friends, family, and your dog. Please support me on Patreon, www.patreon.com/Michelle S. Fondin, and I will see you in the next video.